Guys, so thanks for catching our live reaction, and also thank you to everyone who took the time to vote and campaign for us. So we won, we did it. On top, buddy. Um, so we just wanted to. We didn't really get a chance to really give any real commentary on tonight's ep because we were really focused on like waiting to hear about Talking Dead. So that was like a huge distraction. So we just wanted to share some extra thoughts about tonight's episode, and also the experience of waiting and waiting and waiting to hear about who the winner was. So
A lot of waiting.
yeah, yeah. So tonight was very Rick and Michonne centric. Big surprise.
Yeah, gosh, I don't know what to start with. There was a lot of different crazy stuff that happened. Rick, like, almost died. Like, at one point, there was a lot of parallel type of cinematography, like that whole scene with in the carnival where, like, he's killing a bunch of walkers and she's, like, across the thing, like, killing a bunch of walkers. It's like they're working as a team in one unit. Like, right after that whole conversation of, like, we should do this together and whatnot, it was just really uh, a exploration of how powerful their relationship is to one another and how it helps them survive in this world.
Well, speaking of survival, it on the one hand it was very shocking to see Michonne drop her sword. Like I've never seen her drop her sword ever. And she's suffered
Yeah.
the terrible traumatic loss of losing her son, and I think the idea of losing Rick, like that's I don't know, it's weird because I know she loves the kids like her own, but I think not having him there to fight with her, like I don't know, like she wasn't gonna, like she was slowly backing away, but like dropping her sword was like a
Yeah,
huge.
I didn't feel like she was gonna actually turn around and run though. I mean, when she dropped the sword, I mean, she was like still staring at the walkers as they were actively
Advancing on
coming
her.
towards her, and
Yeah.
it just, I don't know. It felt like she was just gonna let them eat her, or like she was not really planning on leaving. It felt if she was gonna like actually try and run away, I feel like she would have grabbed the sword and turned away and ran. But instead, she was just like, yeah, I'm done. She just seemed like she sort of gave up at that point.
It was kind of harkening back to that moment when Carl thought that Rick had turned
Yeah.
right before
Oh,
Michonne finds him,
yeah.
and he's just
Yeah.
like, I
Good
can't do
point.
this.
Good point.
And I think if they had been in Alexandria and more in close proximity to her being, home and with the kids, that probably would have had a different effect. But being out there alone and then losing him out there while, basically championing this fight that she coerced him into doing, that probably was just too devastating all together at once, I think. Um, but
Another thing that I really liked about this episode is that I liked that they finally devoted a couple minutes to showing the effects of Glenn and Abraham's death on the main character of the show. That's actually something that's like really frustrated me this season.
well, he didn't mention Abraham.
um, I said Glenn and Abraham.
And I said he didn't.
I know, but
I know.
you
I
know,
know.
uh, that's actually really frustrated me this season in that it's like it shows everybody else grieving except for the person who's like known Glenn the longest, Rick.
Yeah.
Like that never made sense to me.
Oh, yeah, he does. He is the one who's known him the
Yeah, it's
longest.
episode 2, and
Carl
or even
actually's known him longer.
technically at the end of episode 1, right? Like with the tank, it was his voice on the walkie-talkie at the end of that episode. So it's like everybody else you see being sad, they're like burying graves and stuff, Maggie and Rosita, and like they never showed Rick actual. We don't even know up until this point of like how Rick. Obviously, he's not happy about it, but we really didn't know like the extent of it. And this episode, they took a lot of time like showing him like not just talking about it with Michonne, but also showing some stuff that like didn't even really involve her, like him like not being able to sleep and like just kind of like restless and unhappy in the middle of the night. Like I was waiting to see like where there was going to be some of that stuff, and I was happy to see some of those effects. It made it a little bit more real for me.
Yeah, I mean he's definitely he's been tabling so much. Like it's just not. It just hasn't been any time for him to properly grieve anything.
Yeah.
I think the only time he had like a moment to properly grieve someone was when he lost Lori. I think is probably like the only time where there was just like a span of nothing really happening
Right.
around him. Like it's just been too much going on.
He's been too preoccupied with like trying to keep other people from not being killed by Negan.
Yeah.
it hasn't really been about like grieving Glenn. It's been about like let's make sure nobody else dies and.
Well, to be fair to Rick, I mean, he seems to be taking it more rough than Maggie is. My,
Yeah.
I'm still like amazed by what's going on there. It's just very confusing. But yeah, in terms of, oh yeah, I love the little shout out to 16 Candles, but which you have no idea because you've never seen it. But the moment where they're having dinner and then
No idea.
they kiss over the little table, it's the end scene of 16 Candles. Molly Ringwald, uh, John Hughes. Anyway, um, Rosita.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
Before we get
Oh
okay,
my god.
obviously if you've been following this at all, you know I really don't like the. Anyway, what bothered me about her in this episode is that she did not even bother to go into that house with the fake gun. Like, she
Yeah.
takes 2 steps, throws
Yeah.
the gun, and she leaves. Like, what did
Oh,
Glenn say?
it was a fake gun a foot into the door. Every other thing in the
Yeah.
whole house must be fake and useless.
I mean,
Like
it's an
the fuck
entire
was that?
house. It was
Made
an
no
entire
sense.
house. Like, it made literally no sense. Like, who knows what could have been in there?
And then the way she whined about it to Gabriel, like she's like,
It's everyone else's fault.
I didn't find not one real gun in the whole place. It's like you didn't even go into the house and look. So I don't know. She's just been irritating the crap out of me this whole season. I would love to see her die.
And Sasha should not
It's
trust
awful.
her. She
Oh yeah,
shouldn't.
fuck no.
Like,
Mm-mm.
Rosita's unstable. Whether she's trustworthy or not, I think is up in the air in terms of Sasha, but just generally speaking, she's unstable. And she can't take accountability for anything that she does. It's Eugene's fault.
It's everybody
Father
else's fault.
It's
Woe's
Sasha's
me,
fault.
woe's me, wah,
Yeah,
wah.
it's Rick and Michonne aren't being proactive.
Yeah.
Like there's never it's never
Acting as she's like the only person in the whole show that's like ever lost somebody. It's like you're not special. Everybody's lost tons of
Maggie
people.
saw
in their
her
life.
father's head chopped off.
Yeah, and she's dealing with it, and becoming like
Oh,
the leader.
and
of
she
the
heard her
community.
husband's head bashed in.
Exactly.
So in terms
Yeah.
of loss, like right now, Michonne saw her kid be eaten alive,
Yeah.
basically. Or,
She watched a guy get killed who she had like a brief romance with. She wasn't even.
She was in love with him. He wasn't in love with her.
Yeah, obviously.
She was in love with him.
But yeah, it's just I don't know. She just seems like a whiny, complainy, really annoying person, and she's not really like that useful to the group.
She just her face just like
Yeah.
just resting bitch face.
She came up with like a creative way of somehow like turning her failed assassination attempt on Negan into like a rationalization for like why Gabriel gave bad advice. Like I don't understand what she's talking about there.
She still wouldn't try to kill Negan. She just had like the most ridiculous aim on the planet.
Gabriel's like, I told you not to do it. Like you didn't remember that? I told you not to do it. She's annoying as crap. I hope she dies.
We'll see how that unfolds by the end of the season. I mean, she's pregnant. Sonequa Martin Green is going to be on Star Wars, and I know they're saying that, oh yeah, we're making room. I don't know that I 100% believe that. I feel like probably one of them is going. Maybe like who knows what's going to happen.
I don't believe any of that stuff that she's gonna stay on the show. I mean she's not just on Star Wars or Star Trek. Sorry, she is the lead character on Star Trek, a show which likely is not going to be shot in Georgia. I just don't. I don't know. I'm not in Hollywood, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But it just doesn't seem realistic to me that she's going to be the main character of this one show, like on the other side of the country, and then like on the off season shoot The Walking Dead. Probably not. Probably leaving that show to go to bigger, better things, which is starring in a brand new Star Trek show, right? I mean, that's a better gig. Why wouldn't she do it?
Yeah, being the lead would be like
Yeah,
hard to.
she's a good actress. She should take that gig. So, I think she's probably gonna die soon. I just don't know how.
I think Negan, whoever doesn't die, is going to end up being Negan's other wife.
Which there was foreshadowing that it could be Rosita earlier on in the season, because if you remember from episode 3, when the Saviors show up a week early to get their first offering, one of the first things that happen when they come through the door is Rosita's standing inside the gate, and like Negan looks her up and down super creepily. Remember that? He like eye fucks her to death, and like there hasn't been anything that's come of that ever since then. But I don't know if it's like there's a suicide mission now with Rosita and Sasha going to go and kill him, and one of them has to survive.
Yeah, I think you know what? Now that I'm really thinking about it,
Just makes more sense to me that Sasha would be dying and going on to another show, and Rosita would be like taken as a wife or something,
I feel like whatever
or
happens.
killed.
Well, whatever happens with this plan, I think Eugene is going to run into them before they're able to do anything. I feel like he's going to talk Sasha, who's reasonable, out of it. I feel like, or maybe I just really want that to happen. But I feel like the chances of him not run into them if they're on the grounds, like I feel like that would, I don't think that they'll skip over that. I think they'll definitely cross paths, and I wonder what would be said and if he's able to talk them down or tell them to wait or something.
That's another thing that Rosita like did tonight that was really irritating. Was she like, when she was talking to Gabriel, and she was like, blah blah blah. If I hadn't listened to you, Eugene would still be here. It's like the last time she even spoke to Eugene, she was like guilt tripping him and making him like being super mean to him for no good reason, and like blaming Abraham's death on him. And then like now, a couple episodes later, she's like, I care about him so much. All of a sudden.
Well,
like
she's scapegoating like everything.
She just never says what's actually going on to the person she's talking to.
Well, not even that, but like, she, even if she had killed Negan or actually shot him, like there's no way that Arad and whoever other Negan's like main minions would have just like gone on like a killing spree in Alexandria. Like there's no way that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
it was just a bad plan.
Yeah, I mean, what did she think was going to happen? Like, Negan was going to die, and all of a sudden, somehow, all of the saviors were going to be paralyzed magically, and like would lose their ability to shoot weapons at the rest of the Alexandrians. Like
or that they would lose the will to do it.
That was maybe the dumbest plan of all time. Like
they're all still in I am Negan mode. Like, where was that going to go?
Yeah.
And in terms of Talking Dead, that was. It's been a long journey. Oh God.
It was really exhausting, actually. The voting process got very competitive, and I don't know. I mean, she did most of the work. I didn't really do anything. I kind of just like sat on the sidelines and was like, yeah, maybe we'll win, maybe we won't. We won, so apparently it worked. So yeah, we're gonna be on the show, which is crazy. Totally crazy.
Well, people wanted to know behind the scenes, I was freaking out, and I was like 97% sure that we won.
I was far more pessimistic. I was kind of like, 50-50. I don't know. We'll see.
I knew they liked the story.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I mean, the fact that they waited for this Michonne-centric episode, like, it would have been insane to not have. Well, I can't say that. It just would have been very strange to go in a different direction for a very Michonne-heavy Sunday evening with Yvette Nicole Brown, and then the episode itself. So I had a good feeling in that.
That worked in our favor for sure.
Yeah.
That definitely worked in our favor.
But it was still nerve-wracking, sitting there, waiting, and like, I'm surprised I didn't accidentally hit the computer over or something in my excitement, like.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous there for a second, but it all worked out, and we're looking forward to being on the show.
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah, so next weekend I'll be watching alone, and I don't know when we'll be on the show, but at some point we'll be on the Talking Dead couch.
At some point, yeah. Sometime soon, hopefully.
And we'll try to do more of these. So, thanks.
Peace.